Here's what happened. It's fall. The holidays are coming up with family. It might be getting colder where you are, which it makes me sad because I don't vibe with that. I like the warm weather, the summertime. And you have a golden opportunity here, though, that I want to make sure I highlight for you in these next few weeks before those holidays. And that is to create some momentum with your burnout proof habits so that you can take that momentum through the holidays, the craziness that comes up, the chaos, those awkward conversations that can come up with family or the awkward silence moments. So I want to help you to get that momentum to go through that time so that then in the new year, you feel like you are ahead of everyone else for making progress towards who it is you want to become and the vision you have for your life. So let's get into it. This is Make Burnout Extinct. I'm Robert David Weeks. I want today to talk to you about why burnout is interconnected with all areas of life. I then want to go through the reminder for the 3 red flags and something to remember about your body. And then there's going to be a guided meditation. I did this a week ago for the Doing Hard Things episode, and it was so epic to do this for you. I really liked it. It's super fun. It's going to be, if you went through that guided meditation before, it's going to be another reminder for you to focus in on a specific area of your life. And then from there, what is a habit you can add into that area of life that you want to improve? If that's health and fitness, of a habit of getting outside for 20 minutes a day of movement, to if it's your communication, being able to have a habit of telling the truth of how you really feel to someone, if that's a partner, to friends. So that is going to be the space and the time to do that. If it's your first time for the guided meditation, I'll make sure I let you know at the beginning what to prepare or how to prepare for this. But what I want to remind you of is that I know you want to take care of everyone else and make sure they're all good. This is going to be the time for you to take care of you. I know how much work you put into that and how much effort and energy, but it also makes sure that you don't let yourself move towards hitting burnout. Because going back to 2018, there was so much unnecessary suffering that happened at that point of my life. That is something I don't want to wish on any person. So this is another reminder for you of take that time for you. And I'm excited to be able to give you that space and through this guided meditation, that opportunity to explore more about that for yourself. So what I want to start with is burnout, of how it's interconnected with all areas of life. You can think about this in a simple way of your body is there for the entire day, not just the hours that you work. So it is getting all this input for what it can handle, for the stress, the anxiety that can come up, for the anxiety bubble, the overwhelm. So it's not just work. It could be the self-talk that comes up throughout our entire day. It could be the stress that we feel in our relationships, our friendships, the having to say no to going to an event that, you feel guilt in saying no to. That could be figuring out, what foods energize you and then what foods have been draining you. It could be, are you spending a lot of time indoors versus outdoors? So it is interconnected with all areas of life, which at first could feel overwhelming. And I acknowledge that you might be feeling like feeling like, no, I didn't realize it's interconnected, but there's hope for you, because if burnout is interconnected with all areas of life, then avoiding burnout and making burnout extinct is interconnected with all areas of life, meaning that there's multiple ways to create momentum so that you are moving towards making burnout extinct and moving away from hitting burnout. Because again, every day we're on this spectrum where on one end we've hit burnout, and then on the other end we've made burnout extinct. And through your habits, you decide where you land on that spectrum every day of either inching, having the burnout beast drag you closer and closer to burnout, or you are moving closer and closer to making burnout extinct. And my focus with this podcast is to make sure that you can make a nice home right on that spectrum of making burnout extinct and spend most of your time there in that area. So the 3 red flags to highlight for you, I want to remind you of these 3 red flags, because those are going to be the signs for you to know which areas of your life to focus in on, which ones feel like you're getting a lot of this come up. The first red flag is chronic exhaustion. Where does that come up for you in your life? That there's a lot of sources from that. I go into then the reasoning for that, the chronic inflammation that comes up with the body. But the body, it's so powerful And it is a badass, the body. There's like 40 trillion cells. When I heard that, I was like, shit, that's incredible. And your body is doing things that you're consciously not even aware of. So for that chronic exhaustion, that has been built over time. And when you can recognize where you're feeling that exhaustion starting to come up, or the fatigue in certain areas of life, that is a moment to be a signpost for you of recognizing, okay, you're moving towards burnout. And that could be an area to focus in on when we go into the guided meditation. The second red flag is negativity. Negativity specifically in your work that can seep into your personal life and then your overall view of the world around you. It's that negativity cloud. So that can be another thing to focus in on where is that for your areas of life. Then the third one is terrible performance. When it comes to work, you think about that of feeling demotivated to put in the extra effort. But then you could also think about this in other areas of life, of how you're showing up in relationship, how you're showing up for your health and fitness. Though that's another way you can think about this for the terrible performance of it's a level that you're not used to. So that'd be the third red flag. Taking those red flags and have a moment now to reflect on, okay, with the negativity, the chronic exhaustion, the terrible performance, where do I notice that in my life? What areas? Health and fitness, relationships, work itself. You can get into the details of that. And I want to give you that space to be able to reflect on it. Because as you do that, I want to get into the prep for the guided meditation. This is going to be a moment for you to relax and just let thoughts pop up in your, they're going to pop up. Thoughts are going to pop up. Don't attach too much to any of these thoughts. Just acknowledge them, notice what those thoughts are, and then let them go by, because you want to start to create connections. Figure out the connections that are going to be helpful for the area of life that you want to focus in on, and then the habit that you feel will be super helpful that you would want to implement for yourself. And I'll give you some ideas and examples as we go through the guided meditation, as well as share with you a story that just happened to me today that can help you with more inspiration. But with the guided meditation, to prep for it, if you are driving and listening to this, please keep your eyes open throughout this entire process. Focus on the road, but you can think about this as like music in the background. If you are walking or creating any type of movement, just acknowledge the focus on the movement, and also let this be like background music where you're listening to it, but you're also getting into the rhythm of the steps. If you're walking or with any type of movement, just connect to the movement so they can even be more present. And that will make it easier for ideas to flow for you. And then if you just are sitting or laying down, listening to this, allow yourself to reconnect to your body. So really focus in on your body, how it feels to sit in the chair or lay down on the bed, or on the ground if you're vibing on the ground, wherever you are. So that's something else to think about, is being able to connect back to presence. Okay, so let's get into it. What I want you to do is focus in on your breath. We're going to bring some conscious breathing into this. Just simple, easy, not pushing hard here. Just a nice inhale through the nose and then exhale through the mouth. And as you release on the exhale, you can even make a sound. You can even make a like a sigh. Just let that energy out and continue to breathe in and breathe out. And as you're doing that, you can allow your shoulders to relax a little bit. You can even feel where there might be some tension in the body. Maybe you could be feeling it in your legs, your arms. We're going to go through a body scan to reconnect with the body, starting with your head. So bringing your awareness to your head. I'm putting my hands on my head right now, if you're listening to this. And you just allow yourself to feel any tension there. Maybe you feel some in your jaw. You can relax the jaw. Even relax around the ears. You might even yawn. I'm yawning a little bit here. And then down into the shoulders. Let the shoulders drop. And then to your chest. Reconnecting with your chest. Nose the stomach. Maybe you got some things moving in that stomach. Maybe just ate some, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, whatever. Just letting it flow. But you're feeling it, feeling the amazingness of the digestive system. Then going into the groin, legs, feeling those sensations. If there's any tension there, just honoring the tension and letting yourself just release that and relax. Going down into the legs, down to the feet, to the toes. You can wiggle the toes. My guy's a few cracks. Got a few cracks on my toes. As you're doing that, you're continuing to focus in on your breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And remembering you can let out that sigh. And as you continue to breathe in and breathe out, what can happen for you is a path can start to appear for yourself in front of you. This could be a path that you could literally be seeing if you have your eyes closed. If your eyes are open, it's just one that you could imagine. Okay, there's a path in front of me. And you can just pretend. Just be like, all right, there's this little path I'm walking on. And you are moving down this path towards the doorway. And as you get closer to this doorway, it's a doorway that's going to open up. And what you see is a racetrack. If you think about it for these, I think of like NASCAR, Formula One, you've seen these cars going super fast around this track. As you open that door, you're hearing the crowds cheering and screaming around you with excitement. You're able to like peer out and you see the sounds of like the vroom, 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 of the engines of these cars moving. And they are going fast. And what you can be reminded of with those cars moving around that track is that is the momentum of your life. That is who you are becoming. The vision you have for your life. It is that momentum, like the car moving around that racetrack. And as those cars continue to move, you notice that at certain points, the car goes into the pit stop. And you see his car come in like screeching with the brakes. You have then the pit crew comes out super fast. You got tire change going. Got the filling up of the gas. And then you got the team all there taking care of it real quick. It feels like a few seconds. And then boom, the car's ready and goes back out onto the track. That phase where that pit crew comes out and take care of the car, that right there is the maintenance phase. Is how you can think about it. Maintenance phase of your life. Those are habits that are happening, that are taking care of the car. The habit of checking in on the tires, checking in on the gas, on filling up the fuel. That for you is your burnout-proof habits. These are the habits that allow you to feel energized, recharged after you felt drained with the momentum. That could be momentum of work tasks to the internal thoughts that are coming up for you, to conversations you're having with other people. And it's in that moment, as you look around this, as this racetrack, as the cars are going around this racetrack, that is the moment for you to recognize what is the area of life that feels like it could be going faster for momentum. Is that in your health and fitness? Is that in your relationships and conversations? What area is that? And take a moment to reflect as you continue to breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. Where is it that you feel there can be improvement? And if you can write it out, speak it out. But usually there's like one or two that just come up immediately for the areas of focus. And then from there, it's recognizing what would be a habit that could help you in improving that area of your life. Thinking about with health and fitness, as simple as movement. Could that be it? Is it getting outside for 20 minutes a day and creating movement? Is it getting in that workout that you've been wanting to get in, but have been putting it off? And then when thinking about communication, is it wanting to tell someone how you truly feel? To be able to be honest in how you communicate? Is that the habit that you want to focus in on? There may be 1, 2, or 3 habits that come up. Acknowledge them as you continue to breathe in and breathe out. And just be, if you can, write them out. If not, speak them out. And then close that door. And as you close that door, the door with the racetrack then moves to the side. And you're able to continue down this path. You're continuing to move forward on this path. It's like this, feels like on either side, it's like this mist. You can't really see. It's like a foggy mist on either side. And again, if you got your eyes open, just imagine that or pretend that you notice that mist on either side as you're continuing down this path. Because guess what? There's another door ahead of you. And in this door, as you move closer and closer to that door, you open up the door. And this is a door of an experience I want to share with you. It happened earlier today where I was cooking and I made this chickpea dish. I had chickpeas I put into the pan on the stovetop. I was cooking. I was letting them crisp up. I like them like golden brown. And I added some onions into the dish. I had red onions. I also liked the yellow onions, so I comboed it. Added some spinach on top. Let that sizzle out. Then threw in some spices, some turmeric, some cumin. Had a little salt, and then garlic. And as I was cooking up, what I had happened was I also had cut up an apple on a cutting board. So I had the apple set up. I had some pistachios, 2 in a bowl. And then I had a cutting board that I could clean as I was cooking, as the chickpeas were still cooking. So I went to the sink, cleaned up the board, cleaned the knife, or washed the knife and cleaned it and dried it off. And then after that, I put the spices away. And as the pan with the chickpeas and the onions and the spinach was like, as I noticed that it was getting close to being done, I then put all of that into a bowl and then brought the pan over to the sink, put some water in the pan, let it sit, and then cleaned it. And once that was done, I was able to just grab my food while it was still hot with chickpeas. I had my apples, I had pistachios, and then I went and ate my lunch. But what was cool was I didn't have any dishes that I'd have to clean because I had already done that. And that's another way you can think about this maintenance phase and these burnout-proof habits. You don't have to have a lot of time to do these habits. And they don't have to interrupt your day, or you don't need a whole day dedicated to these burnout-proof habits. Similar, you can think about your day as that experience of me cooking, where in your day, you're having different activities that you're doing. Similar to me with, I got the pan on the stove going, I'm cutting up the apple, I got my pistachios, but then also I'm at the same time cleaning. So with that, in that same day, you can do these burnout-proof habits. Because then what it does for you at the end is you don't then have a stack of dishes that you have to clean. So that could feel overwhelming. And all of a sudden then you're going to decide not to do the habit because it feels like too much effort. And then you don't have, if you're cooking and you got other people in the house, they're not complaining about it smelling because the dishes have been left out. So you don't have to deal with that added stress and overwhelm. And then you are able to come back to a clean kitchen for the next meal. So when you can realize that these burnout-proof habits help you to get ready for the next day and are something that you can do throughout your day, it then will help you with this momentum to take that further in your life and to help you to move faster towards who it is you want to become and the vision you have for your life. Because one of the hardest things as you're moving towards who it is you want to become, and especially with creating burnout-proof habits, is the consistency of sticking with them. It can be one of the hardest things, but it can be one of the simplest things, which is you just got to show up and do the activity. That is that burnout-proof habit. Go out for the 20-minute walk. Go and actually tell someone the truth of how you feel in conversation. Maybe it's having that pause to reconnect with your body. But it's the action that you have to do. And you don't have to make it this big thing. So as you continue to look out into that experience and you start to close the door in front of you, close it right there. Have this moment to reflect back on, okay, out of the 3 habits that had come up, which one can I focus in on for tomorrow? Maybe it is that 20 minutes a day of walking and creating movement outside. Maybe it is I want to now tomorrow be able to start sharing how I truly feel in conversation. The key with these habits is to make sure that these are burnout-proof habits that help to energize you rather than drain you. We have the stresses of life, the challenges of life that come our way, the overwhelm. So it's remembering what energizes you. With movement, your body's producing energy as you're moving, and it becomes more efficient in doing that. In the communication of telling how you truly feel, you're able to get out the poison inside of you of the tension and this pressure of wanting to say the thing, but you just can't. When you lean into that and you actually say it, it's literally letting the air out of the balloon so that you don't have the balloon pop and you hit burnout. So as you continue to breathe in and breathe out, focus in on that one burnout-proof habit that you're going to implement tomorrow. Focus in on that. And ask yourself, why that habit? What area of your life is it going to improve? Why is this habit important for you? And as you continue to breathe in and breathe out, take a moment to celebrate. An acknowledgement, you could give yourself a hug. I know it may sound weird, but it is awesome to do as a hug. You could just give you a pat on the back. Some sort of acknowledgement to celebrate of you choosing that habit. And then what I remind you of is to make sure that you write down that habit for tomorrow. You can do that in your journal. Could be doing it that day so that you can check it off. I know that helps me. It creates a reward system of like, okay, cool. I saw this. I got this done. I can check it off. It feels good to check something off. That's helpful. Or it could be another way for you of just reminding yourself that you are going to do this tomorrow. And then what I want to remind you of is this habit is an anchor. It's not going to solve all the problems. It's not going to prove everything about your life, but it is an anchor to get started for the momentum. And then what you can do is come back to this meditation and then pick your next habit and then the next one. And what you'll start to realize is that it's building these habits, these burnout-proof habits. It'll then help to move you towards making burnout extinct. And as you continue to breathe in and breathe out, you can imagine what that's like to live a life where burnout is extinct. What does that mean for you moving towards your vision, towards the person you're wanting to become? Feel that. Let that energy flow through you. You might feel like a lightness. You might feel like a big charge that comes up. But just let that wash over you. Because I want to remind you, you are capable of this. It is possible to create these burnout-proof habits. And it's to be able to remind yourself to show up, to put those reps in, and then to continue to show up again the next day. You can now come back into the space, reconnect with what's around you. You can look around. If you had your eyes closed, you can open them up. As you continue to focus back in on your breath, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. I want to let you know that you can send me a message of what habit you are focusing on. And I want to remind you that you are capable of this. And if you haven't heard it yet today, I believe in you. You don't even have to wait till tomorrow. If you still have time today, get that habit done to get started. Again, for the example of getting outside for 20 minutes of movement. Make it happen for yourself. And then show up again for tomorrow. You got this. If you like this episode, please don't forget to rate this podcast to help get this message out of Make Burnout Extinct. And you can share what resonates with you from this episode by connecting with me on Instagram or LinkedIn. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode. I don't take that for granted. I'm excited to reconnect again soon.